Hello everyone. In today's video, we're going to be talking about polymorphism, one of those elements of Python that everybody's terrified to see on the exam until they start fiddling with it and realizing they've been doing quite a bit of polymorphism already. They just didn't realize that's what it was called. So the problem with the polymorphism, kind of like we had, as you probably noticed with our classes, is there's a lot of different pieces to it if you really, really want to go hard. And originally I did this as one long video and it was like 45 minutes and I said, nope. So I went back and decided to break it apart in smaller ones. So let's get started. So what polymorphism is basically allowing you to take objects of different classes to be treated as if they're part of a common superclass. You're sitting there going, what are you talking about? Basically, you're allowing multiple different objects to have things that are very similar to each other. And there's a bunch of different ways to do it. We'll take a look at that. The first one we're going to take a look at is something called method overriding. This is when you're going to have a superclass and you're basically going to change what they do in the original piece. Let's give you an example. Let's go ahead and create a really, really basic animal class. We're going to go ahead and make it super simple here. I'm not even going to do an init here. I'm just going to go right to a function here. I'll go ahead and call this one speak, sprec. I guess you could sprec. That's good too. Let's see, we could speak, and now we're going to go ahead and say self, and we're going to keep it simple. We're going to return animal sound. Let's go ahead and make this one real simple. Now, your brain is already hurting saying, where's your def in it? And you need name of animal, pop, pop, pop. Don't worry about it. We're keeping it simple today. So let's go ahead and try to actually print our animal sound here. So we'll print animal, which is our class here. Actually, we should create an example. We should definitely an object here. So let's call it a equals animal, just like that. And then we'll say a dot, actually, well, we have to print it. A dot speak, just like that. Now, if we run this code, we expect it to say animal sound. That checks out. What we did is we created our animal class. We went ahead and created an example called A, which is our animal here. And we ordered it to, we triggered a function out of that, a method out of that particular class here, a.speak. It said animal sound. So that's stuff we're already familiar with. But wouldn't it be cool if we could somehow take this and change it in a different class of it, a child class? And the answer is, yeah, we can do that. Let's do it. So let's create ourselves another animal class. And this time we're going to create this one dog. And our dog is going to inherit the properties of our lovely animal class above. That means it's going to be grabbing a copy of this method inside of it. So if I wanted to do something really dumb here, let's go ahead and do a pass. Pass just says don't do anything. If I say Fido equals a dog, and I do Fido, actually we have to print it, don't we? Fido dot speak. You will notice if I run this, it'll say animal sound. Now you're going, what? Well, that makes perfect sense if you think about it. If you remember, our dog, since we're using animal as the superclass, we're getting all the good stuff out of it. And we're basically going to be able to enable it, even though I didn't explicitly declare a different method inside my dog class. So let's go ahead and clear that out. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the first example of polymorphism, and that's going to be to override the original method. So I'm going to go grab this here. I'll paste it in here. And of course, our dog is going to go bark, bark. For those of you who are AP students, bark, bark, the loud dog. We'll just bark. That's perfectly fine. And you know what? We'll go ahead and create another one. So we'll do cast cow, and I'll keep this simple. We'll do another animal. And let's see here, def speak. We're going to use the same one, self. Obviously, we need to pass ourselves here, as weird as that sounds. Return moo. Now, we have three different objects here. We have the animal, which is going to be our superclass. And of course, we have our handy-dandy other classes here too, which you can see. We have our cow, which uses this as the superclass. We have dog, which uses this as the superclass. Now, if you're sneaky, you'd probably say, can I use cow and take the superclass out of dog? The answer is yes, we could do that, but that's already getting pretty complicated. So what you have here is you have three different classes, which make unique objects, and each one has the same method called speak, but each one has a completely different response when you trigger it. Let's go ahead and give you an example. So let's go ahead and make it really, really easy here. Well, let's see here. We'll make a quick little animal. We'll do A equals animal, just like that. So we'll go ahead and say B equals animal, just like that. And we'll say C equals animal, just like that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add all these to a list because why not? Let's see here. Animals, NX equals A, B, C. Keep it nice and simple. And all we're going to do is we're going to trigger the speak command for each one of these animals. So say for an animal and animals, we just need A and I, which would be the name of the object. Speak is going to be the name of the command. Now, if I run this, you will observe that nothing happens because we forgot to put it inside of a print. Remember, we're returning it. We're not printing it. So if I run it now, you'll see animal sound, animal sound, animal sound, and you'll realize something went terribly wrong. What went terribly wrong is we declared 3 animals. What we meant to do is do 3 different animals here. So I'll go ahead and run this one more time, and aha, success. We have animal sound, it worked. We have bark, and we have moo. But the important thing you probably observed here is we used the exact same method, even though we had 3 different types of classes. And now that's one of the important things that you'll see quite a bit of, especially as you start doing things like game development, where you need objects, and an object can be a weapon, it can be a box, it can be a chest, it can be a character, and you're having all these individual pieces. But the important thing is you want that one common element that, remember, this has overwritten what we got in that original class here, which is one of the nice little things here. So if we wanted to have a little bit of fun with this, of course, we could say moo. We could print stand by to moo. Now, the cool thing here is if I actually run this again, you'll see it says animal sound, bark, stand by to moo, moo, because we basically added unique functionality. It's not very practical functionality inside of our little deaf speak inside of our cow animal, but it does give you an idea of just how powerful it is, how we have this common command, but we have 3 totally different objects that we're summoning that common command from. Enjoy.